I'm really impressed. I will be back just to visit, honestly. I really will. You know, it keeps my dad's memory alive for me.
So typewriters have always just kind of been this interesting machine that I discovered over 15 years ago. And I was just very interested in the form and the function of it and the fact that it was sort of still relevant today. What really intrigued me was the typewriter still works the same way it did when it was manufactured 50 or 100 years ago. Once I started to tinker with them and discovered that there are a lot of like-minded people like me who like typewriters, it just sort of blossomed from there, grew from there. These are sort of some of the conversation pieces we have in our collection. A typewriter from the Royal Typewriter Company from 1942, and it was used to transcribe radio messages and Morse code to paper. This one here, which has a very unique and strange light attachment. This one here is an Olivetti designed machine, rebranded for the Sears department store. This one here has an original crest on it from Toronto Typewriter Co., which is a typewriter company that existed in the 1930s and 40s. This one here is the same model that Ernest Hemingway used at one point in his career. We've got several other Underwoods here that have what we call a field case, and the case itself ends up becoming a portable desk. How cool is that? This is the same typewriter that is used in the movie The Shining. Our days are completely unpredictable. We never really know who's going to come in. Everybody seems to have their own connection and attachment to the typewriter.
My dad, Ron Garside, was in the typewriter business. He started in 1942 at Remington Rand, and he started out as a mechanic, typewriter mechanic. He actually became a service manager at Remington Rand. The first date when he met my mom, she said all he talked about was typewriters. So
a lot of typewriters, you know, when they come in here, they haven't been opened in 20, 50, 70 years. And so you really kind of never know who the last person to close the box was. And so we find peanuts in the typewriter, or maybe it was out during a board game night, and so we'll find pieces of a board game, or a piece of jewelry, or an earring, maybe a family of mice. We've found, you know, old love letters. We've found what we thought were fake sick notes that a kid would have done, because there's so many copies of somebody trying to write a sick note. Cigarette butts, of course, you know, you figure you're sitting there smoking, it's late, maybe your cigarette falls into the typewriter, and you just go, we'll just leave it there.
there's one thing about Chris, every time I talk to him, it was just an excitement level. It's really too bad he didn't get an opportunity to meet my dad.
We've seen a real resurgence of interest in the typewriter. We're living in such a melting pot where everything has a screen and is connected to the internet. And so if you're looking for something different, it's got to be not connected to the internet, doesn't have a screen, and for some reason, people seem to gravitate to vinyl record, analog photography, old radios, and then typewriters. And so we're sort of fulfilling this need that people have, this void that's been created because everything we have nowadays is the same.
It's nice to see somebody who's still keeping, typewriters alive in Toronto.